Okay, I'm telling you, as soon as you start applying these 3 steps into your life, your reality, your entire life is going to change drastically. These are 3 easy to apply steps that are going to get you intentionally creating your reality in the way that you want it to be. And listen, maybe these steps haven't traditionally been easy for you to apply, but that's kind of my gift here is in making them easy for you to apply. I like to think of myself as a translator of those really hard, weird, esoteric processes. So grab yourself a little coffee, a little tea, a little something. Get your journal, take some notes, and start applying these 3 steps today. I'm going to make it absolutely easy for you to do so. If you have not seen last week's episode, we discussed another 3 steps that we're going to build on today. And as you know from last week's episode, if you've already watched last week's episode, you know that these steps that I'm giving you guys are steps to actually apply the law of attraction, to really ground the concept of all that is, which is often very misunderstood or not fully understood, which is what keeps people stuck from ever actually being able to harness it to work for them. So if you haven't seen 2 episodes ago where we dive into that, I definitely recommend watching that episode. And then like I said, last week's episode, I gave you another 3 easy to apply steps to help you to vibrationally align according to exactly what you want to manifest. Now today I'm going to give you 3 more steps that are more focused around your focus and your attention. You can kind of think of these 3 steps that I'm going to give you today as things for you to do daily to help you with the actual reprogramming process so that you can make it automatic for you. And like we talked about last week, you don't have to watch yourself constantly because you can build in these 3 steps that I'm about to share with you into a sort of like daily ritual for yourself. Each time you do what I'm about to share with you in these 3 steps, it is going to strengthen that new neural pathway that you're building. And as we discussed in the last episode, you know that the subconscious is the bridge that communicates to the universe, communicates out into the quantum field, communicates into our creator field, what it is that we want to manifest through speaking the language of vibration. And so by utilizing these, practicing and tapping into that vibration, that essence in which we want to manifest our desires in, it's going to become more and more well practiced, more and more well trained within you to just do it automatically. In the same way, if you were trying to form a new habit with yourself consciously, like getting up every day and going and working out, those first few times are gonna be fucking rough, right? If you don't have any sort of practice doing that in your entire life, like you've never worked out a day in your life and now all of a sudden you have decided that you want to start working out every single morning, when you first start doing that, it's going to go against everything that is programmed in your brain to do. The brain likes to create shortcuts in our mind out of the things that we do frequently. This is what creates our sort of habits and routines. So if your ingrained routine that you just kind of subconsciously travel down every single day is your alarm goes off, you snooze the alarm, you go back to sleep, you wake up, you rush to get out the door for work, it's going to feel really fucking weird to wake up earlier and go to the gym every single morning. And you're really gonna have to kind of fight that because you're fighting against those well carved out neural pathways, those memorized ways of being in your subconscious mind to begin with. But what I'm giving you with these 3 steps are essentially exercises, practices for you to do that are going to help you practice thinking, feeling, perceiving the world and yourself from this new way. You can even see this as like gamifying the process, making it fun. These steps give you actually something to do other than just having to watch your mind, or as we talked about in the last episode, notice your feelings and use them as a GPS. These 3 steps are like, okay, but then what do I do with that? How do I actually really begin to ingrain this new way of being, this new way of thinking, this new way of feeling so that it becomes an automatic function in my subconscious brain and therefore the automatic signal and aligned vibration that is being sent out that is aligned to exactly what I want to manifest, and therefore attracting that back to me. So step number 1 is to play in that realm. It is really, really hard to overcome our environment when it's all that we are seeing or experiencing. If all that you are seeing or experiencing around you in your external reality when you look around is evidence of how you have not been successful, is evidence of lack in your life, is evidence to you of feeling like you're not enough. If when you look out, that is all that you are seeing around you, which hard pill to swallow, but our external reality as we look around is a mirror to what is going on within us. We need to help ourselves to become familiar with a new reality before it will ever actually be created in our external reality. And if this external reality is simply a mirror to what's going on inside, then we need to get what's going on inside to start reflecting out what it is that we actually want to create. So internally, we need to be playing in the realm that we are already successful. Internally, we need to be playing in the realm that we are way fucking more than enough. We're fucking incredible, amazing, one of a motherfucking kind in a league of our own. We need to be playing in the realm internally that we're rich as fuck. We're abundant. Money flows easily to us, and we can make money doing whatever the fuck we want. We need to create that reality internally first for us to ever be able to experience it externally. So I like to think of this as playing in that realm. Ultimately, that reality and infinite other realities exist for you to create, but you've just been perpetually creating what you're already seeing externally from you because you haven't been going to the source of the creation, which is internally. You've just been allowing the external reality to be your feedback of what is, and then embodying that as that is who you are and giving meaning to yourself based on that, rather than overcoming that, again, attacking it out the root and deciding what you are going to reflect first. We're getting it all wrong. We think this out here tells us how to feel in here, but really how we feel in here tells this out here what to do, how to be created, and your external reality will respond to what is going on in here. So you need to break the pattern of only seeing and experiencing what has already been manifested, because this is actually the fucking past. The energy that created all of this has already come and gone. Now you're here. Now you are emitting a frequency today, right now, as you listen to me, that is creating your future, that is creating your tomorrow, your next week, your next month, your next year. It is all based on what you are emitting today. What created everything that you have now, your entire lived experience right now, and whatever shit you may have going on, that's already gone. We can just leave that there and we can move forward, beginning to reflect out and experience internally first the new reality that we want to create, and the external reality will respond to that. So for example, if you've always been reading a book, I don't know why this is my example right now, but if you've always been reading a book about why you can't be successful, okay, just stick with me with my weird metaphors. You keep reading this book. You read this book over and over and over and over again. The thoughts and experiences going into your mind are reasons why you're never going to be successful. What you need to do is start reading a new fucking book. But if this is the only book that you have, that you physically have, you're going to have to write your own story now. And so how do we do this? We do this with the power that is inside of us to create, to imagine. We are natural born creators. It is one of the most natural things that we do as humans, and is what makes us unique from all the other animals and creatures on the planet. The problem is most people aren't utilizing this superpower, which is our imagination, which is our ability to overcome what is external to us and harness the power of the internal to actually influence the external. So some ways that we can do this, some ways that we can start playing in this realm where the things that you desire already exist, are through meditation, visualization, and scripting. All three of these are going to help you to break the pattern of the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, identities that you have been up until this point, and that you have continued to let your external reality tell you about yourself. Remember, what is already manifested is old fucking news. You are just continuing to repeat a cycle and repeat a cycle if you're letting the external influence how you feel internally, which then again influences the external, and so on. We need to come here internally and create a new fucking cycle. And then that is going to influence our external, which will then provide us with even more evidence of how powerful we are and how we can create our reality. And by that time that our external reflects this new internal way of being, we might even want to be on to the next thing and start up leveling even more. So through meditation, this is going to help you to break the patterns of your old ways of thinking, feeling, and being. It's going to open you up to higher self communication and allow you to get into this void space where you're disconnected from what is all around you right now and what you have been allowing to mean something about you and perpetuate your internal experience. And it's going to help you to create this blank slate of infinite possibility. And from here, you can begin to visualize, you can begin to imagine what you want to experience and create instead. This brings us into visualization. Visualization is like watching a movie in your mind of the reality that you want to be living and experiencing. Like I said with the book metaphor, I knew it was coming up for a reason. This is the book that you create in your mind, okay? So your external reality is that old tangible book that you have. Your visualization is the new book that you're writing in your mind. I, for one, love to get into a hypnotic trance state or even go from meditation, just being really open and relaxed, into visualization. I've already mentioned for you guys in the last episode that I have a smaller offer than Align and Attract, which is Manifestation 101, which does have hypnosis and visualizations in it for you if that's kind of your jam and what you want to get into. But of course, if you want to take your subconscious reprogramming and your manifestation, understanding, and embodiment much deeper, then I highly recommend getting into Align and Attract, where we have even more tools and techniques for you. So I will link both down below for you. I think Manifestation 101 is 222. I'm not exactly sure, but it's definitely an intro offer compared to Align and Attract, which is a bigger investment, but so fucking worth it. And then lastly, scripting. I also like to personally begin with scripting when I'm kind of coming up with a new vision for myself, to just allow myself to think of it more. I'm such a writer, so I like to write it out, and then from there I can kind of start to play the movie more. But something about first writing pen to paper feels really good to me. The key with scripting is you want it to not be like a wish list. You don't want to say, I want this for my life. You really want to make it super present, or even write it like it's in the past, like it just happened yesterday, or write it like it happened today, like you're just writing a diary entry into your journal. What I like to do is kind of do a version of regular journaling that I do already, which is gratitude journaling. So I journal often, just looking around at my current experience of everything that I've fucking manifested already, and I will just write out honestly how much I love my life and how incredible and blown away I am by everything I manifested. And I just kind of list those manifestations out for myself to just remind myself how powerful I am, that I am the creator of my reality, that I've already created all of this, and that I will just continue to create so much more. So this is already a practice that I do with my real actual life, which no matter where you are in your life right now, even if you're not where you want to be, even if you're just starting your manifestation journey, I highly recommend doing this because the power of gratitude is insane. Okay, that is everything, and what you focus on expands. So the more that you can find examples of gratitude and abundance and creation and magic and love and all of these amazing experiences that you already have in your life, and the more that you can bring a lot of good feeling energy and appreciation and kind of zoom in on that, the more you are going to build upon that and create even more of it. But anyways, on scripting, I will do the same kind of journaling, but for my dream life that I'm manifesting now. So for example, with a manifestation that's coming through for me literally as we speak, I leave tomorrow for this trip. For the longest time, I would script about how I was somewhere on a trip, working remote, working with my boyfriend, who could also travel remotely for me, which was never a possibility for us before because he had a full-time job, and that we were just able to travel the world, work from wherever, work on things that I'm so passionate about, that I'm in love with, be able to shoot my jewelry brand Arcanum LA in beautiful locations around the world, be able to connect with my students and create courses and launch my courses and teach people and help people from wherever I want to be in the world. Basically almost like this nomadic lifestyle, but also I'm a Cancer Venus and my boyfriend's a Cancer Sun, so we love having a home base. So I would always plug in there that I also had like an amazing sanctuary home that was my home base, but that I could also travel wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I have scripted this for years and I'm living it now. I'm going to start living it tomorrow. But over the last few months, this has all manifested for me. We moved into our beautiful home base that we're creating into like this, almost like a retreat center vibe. Like we have our workout room, our meditation room, like our big spa bath, our beautiful backyard. It's spacious. It feels amazing. It feels like exactly what I envisioned. I feel super safe here, super comfortable here. I was able to retire my boyfriend and he quit his full-time job and now works for me, so we can travel whenever, wherever, and don't have to wait for him to request time off from work. And we've grown both businesses to the point where we can travel the world and we can work from wherever, and that feels really fucking good. So when I say this shit works, okay, this shit works. Trust me. But I'm never going to be the one who tells you that it doesn't take time, okay? Good things do take time. And I'm thankful that this manifestation took the length that it did to come through, because I'm finally in the place of my life where I feel like I'm ready for all that I'm experiencing now. And if I would have gotten it sooner, I don't think I would have been able to enjoy it as much, and I wasn't who I needed to be to hold it, to have it, to really be able to experience it. The more that you do this manifestation work, the more you really come to respect the fuck out of divine timing and trust it. Okay, now moving on to step number 2, which is shifting your focus throughout the day. On the note of allowing this kind of stuff to take time and knowing that it does take time, you have to understand that you need to train your mind. And just like you can't train a dog to be potty trained in a single day, you can't train your mind to be trained in a single day. Of course, there's tools and techniques like what I give you in Align and Attract, which really kind of helps to brainwash you, but still, those even require time and require repetition and are backed by steps and tools like what I'm sharing with you right now to help you to really lock it in and ingrain it. So you need to decide what you want to focus on and the essence of it. So how you want to focus on that thing, like we talked about in the last 2 episodes. And maybe for you, this is that bridge goal or that bridge belief, like we talked about in the previous episode. And then you need to actually focus on the essence of it throughout your life. You really need to open yourself to it. And at first, this is going to mean consciously aligning to it. Maybe this means shifting your focus from thinking about what you don't have or what you don't like to thinking about what you do have and what you do like. Stop thinking about what you don't like in your life and start thinking and focusing on what you want instead. Stop focusing on what you don't have and start focusing on what you do have already. When I was first manifesting money coming from no experience or understanding of money at all, this meant no longer focusing on everything that I didn't have and starting to focus on what I did have, even if that was $1. Or even if my account was in the negatives, but I had a bed to sleep on and my rent was paid for the month. Focusing on what you do have now, because that is the essence of what you want to manifest, right? You want to manifest more things to be grateful for. You want to manifest more things that you can enjoy. So start enjoying the things that you have now. Start feeling grateful for the things that you have now. You need to train your mind to think in a new way, to stop seeking out all the things that are wrong and start seeking out all the things that are right. Stop seeking out all the things that you don't like and start seeking out all the things that you do like. After doing this work for so long, I really understand why people are fucking miserable, because I can see when people have that trained mindset of always noticing what they don't like, always noticing what bothers them, always noticing how everybody around them always annoys them, always noticing how things are never going right for them, always noticing how they never have enough. There's always a problem, there's always an issue. Versus people who, by the way, these are the people that are successful, are always noticing how they're winning, are always noticing how even in the shit, things are working out for them, are always noticing what they're doing right, are always noticing how they can improve and focusing on that improvement rather than their fuck-ups, letting their fuck-ups be lessons and teach them and help them, are always focusing on the things that they have to be grateful for, are always focusing on enjoying life, even if it's just the little mundane things, are always seeking out and calling out cool things that they see out in their life and their reality. For example, not seeing a car that they would love to have and being like, oh, would be nice, but seeing a car that they would love to have and be like, wow, love that for them. I'm so happy for them and I can't wait until that's mine. Calling out compliments for people instead of jealousy. Just living life through this lens of constantly seeking out things to love, things to enjoy, things to just find pleasure in rather than find pain in. These two people will live and create very different lives. And the more you begin to become this person through training your mind to do so, because for most of us, this is going to require training, you're going to start to get really good at spotting these other people, and it's going to make a lot of sense to you why they live and create the lives that they live. And you and people like you who have this more positive, expansive, hopeful, loving mindset create far different lives. And honestly, this is why I'm really passionate about preaching this shit, is because I want to help as many people get out of this as possible. Because for me, I used to be that person and I was fucking miserable, and I truthfully did not think I was going to get into this right now, but I didn't think I would make it to the age that I am because I was that fucking miserable. And if I could help one person to become this other way and save themselves, dig themselves out of these motherfucking trenches, because that's what it is. It's the trenches. It's the biggest ripoff of this beautiful gift that is this life, then all of this, all the hard work I put into my courses, my programs, the podcast, my content, it's all fucking worth it. So when that old thought comes up, when that old way of thinking or being comes up, I want you to consciously shift it, okay? This is a part of training the mind. I know it can be annoying, but this is a part of the training. Just like if your dog was to pee on your carpet, you're gonna pick your dog up and you're gonna put it outside until it learns to just go outside automatically. It's going to feel unnatural at first, but I want you to do your best as you shift your way of thinking, as you shift your perception, as you shift your way of being and perceiving and living this life, to not only change the words that you're saying, but to really get into the feeling of it. So rather than focusing on the lack, focus on the abundance and really feel the gratitude for that. Rather than focusing on all the things that are going wrong, focusing on the things that are going right and really feeling that within yourself. Rather than focusing on jealousy and lack, focusing on celebration and inspiration and feeling that. And to keep this from falling into the blurred lines of being like spiritual bypassing or completely just rolling over but not getting into the necessary depths of the work, I want to throw out the disclaimer that the additional processing work of whatever emotions or stories that are around that thought process, that belief, that identity are really important to do and to dive into too. So this is why in my limiting belief processes or in my subconscious rewiring and frequency realigning sections of my courses in Align and Attract and Scale, I give you techniques to help to really emotionally neutralize those beliefs so that you feel less attached to them. You don't have as much stories around them, and you're able to more easily let them go. And you're supported to strengthen the new belief and weaken the old one. But we need to be able to process it. We can't just shove down what might be underlying underneath those thoughts or mindsets or ways of being and seeing the world. It can be really useful to actually dig into where that even came from, why it came from, and help ourselves to rewrite that story within ourselves so that we can fully come to terms with it, process it, release it through our entirety, and let it go. A shift that I want to share with you so that you can kind of see what this might look like in real life would be like having the thought to yourself like, oh shit, I have to pay rent, right? Like, have you ever thought that and had that dread of being like, oh my God, I have to pay rent. I don't even know how much money I have in my bank account, right? This is a perfect example of how I want you to shift this. Here's the new kind of stream of thought and trail of thoughts and spiral that I want you to go down instead. Instead of going down the spiral of, shit, I have to pay rent. Oh my God, I don't have enough money. I never have enough. When is this going to stop? I hate that I'm living like this. Okay, that's creating more of that. Here's the spiral I want you to start to introduce instead. Something like, I am willing to believe and I'm beginning to see how truly powerful I am, how I am the creator of my reality, and how I am manifesting every experience through my vibration. I live in an infinitely abundant universe. Wow, how blessed and abundant am I to even have a roof over my head, and look at all that my home provides me. I am so abundant. So this is a perfect example of, rather than seeing things, for example, bills, as taking away from you, see what they're providing you. So instead of dreading paying your rent, turn it into experience of abundance to be so thankful that you even have a home over your head that you have to pay rent for. And when you go to pay that rent, even if it takes you down to $0 in your bank account, I want you to feel so much gratitude as you do it, knowing you just paid for another month of a roof over your head, where you can keep all your things, where you can feel comfortable and safe and feel how abundant you really are for that. And I guarantee you, by the next time you pay rent, you will be way more abundant. Okay, last step that I have for you today, and this one is huge and super important for the subconscious mind, is to start seeking out evidence. So I don't just want you to seek out evidence from your own life of why this belief is true, or why this manifestation or new identity that you're embodying is absolutely yours. I want you to also seek out evidence in other people's lives and use the reflection that is your external reality to provide you proof of the powerful internal work that you're doing that's beginning to project a new reality. So in your own life, I really recommend that you create a phone note and you start consciously and intentionally building up this phone note with more and more evidence as to why this new belief or why this manifestation is inevitable and absolutely true for you. So for example, if I wanted to believe that I can become a multi-million dollar successful business owner who's confident, who's well-spoken, I would create a phone note for this and start seeking out evidence for it. If I made a $1 sale, that is evidence that I'm becoming a multi-million dollar business owner. If someone tells me, wow, I really like how you talk, here's evidence that I am great at speaking and that I'm confident. If I feel a little bit like I'm feeling myself that day, there's evidence that I'm becoming more confident. Anything and everything that you can utilize for evidence, I want you to use it for evidence. And I want you to add at least 3 to 5 things to this note every single day. This is going to make you a pro at seeking this stuff out. It's going to train your mind to stop seeking out all the things that are working against you and start seeking out all the things that are working for you. And this process is going to prove to your subconscious mind even more that this all is already true, which is going to make the way that you move automatically a way that inevitably creates that as truth in your lived experience and reality. Then in other people's lives, and using other people's lives as evidence to show your subconscious mind even more proof of this inevitably being true or real for you, I want you to utilize things like books, podcasts, shows, courses that normalize this new way of thinking or being and really surround you with it, especially when you're in this kind of incubation phase of the up-leveling process, when you're getting used to this new way of thinking. Think of yourself as like a little seed or like a what do you call it? Caterpillar that's just getting ready to hatch into a butterfly. But right now is a super fragile time where you want to be surrounded by constant proof of how this is possible for you. Constant examples and reminders of how to think, feel, be, and vibrate in this new way. This is why personally, I'm always investing in myself. I'm always in courses. I'm always reading inspirational books or listening to inspirational podcasts. I've also mentioned before that personally I love reality TV like the Kardashians or the Real Housewives because that helps me to normalize a rich lifestyle, something that I didn't grow up with and that was never normalized for me. So that's kind of my way of seeing how do these people live, right? Like they'll go drop $20,000, $30,000 on a Birkin, $50,000, $100,000 on a Birkin and not flinch, okay? I try to normalize that for me. But also, like I said, I'm always in courses that really reiterate this sort of mindset, and that's why I'm so locked into it. And anytime I catch myself slipping, that's immediately when I invest because I know that I need it even more now. So I will find a course, I'll revisit my old courses. If you guys are in Align and Attract or Scale, you know that you have those courses for life to return to. And my students love to re-listen to the content over and over and over again. As I mentioned already before, Manifestation 101 is actually served as a podcast format. It's a private podcast, so it's really easy for you to just plug into on the go whenever you want. Both of my other courses, Align and Attract and Scale, are also hosted on an app that you can just easily download and dive into at any time too. So if you're new to even this way of thinking, I definitely recommend that you take the leap and you get into Align and Attract or Scale, or if you feel better starting with Manifestation 101, that's cool too. Or even you guys continue to dive into my free content. I have free workbooks for you guys. I have low cost workbooks. I have so much content out on the internet. I think this is like the 55th podcast episode I have. Listen to all that shit. That's like 55 hours of this kind of mindset. And that's going to help you to reprogram your mind and normalize this way of thinking, feeling, and being too. What I share with you is the exact stuff that has gotten me here. So you can go back to my very first podcast episode and see the transformation that I've gone through. I'm sure I talk about the things that I've manifested along the way and the up levels that I've manifested along the way. This is real life proof of what this kind of way of being, thinking, and feeling and moving through the world and creating this reality within yourself first, and then allowing that to determine what's then reflected into your external reality instead of the external reality determining how you feel, attacking it at the root. I'm living proof of all of that. And when you see someone out in the wild who has what you want or is an example of, for example, how I shared earlier, being confident or being a great speaker, I want you to zoom in on that. I want you to bring attention to it, really focus in and mark that to your subconscious mind as that's admirable. That's inspiration. That is proof to me of what I can do myself. Because remember, what you focus on expands. If you focus on what you don't want, you're going to expand and experience more of what you don't want. If you focus on what you do want and you call it out, you're going to experience more of that, not only in your external reality, but within yourself too. And something cool to know is when you start seeing other people having the things that you want or being the ways that you dream of being, this is proof that it's working, because you wouldn't see any of that if you weren't already training your mind to seek it out, to be aware of it, and to embody it yourself. You will start to see more and more of this proof both in your life and out in the wild, in the world with other people. And that is proof for you that all of this work that you're doing is really fucking working. And what you are focusing on is quite literally expanding. Let this be signs that you are on the right path. And one last thing that I'll leave you with is to trust that your struggle is your mastery. So as I have shared with you guys, I used to struggle a lot with being a negative person, with quite honestly hating myself, hating my life, hating everything. I also always struggled with money. And now I see that these two things, I have experienced the polarity of them in my life because I was meant to master them. And in my experience, that's because I'm also meant to teach people how to do the same. So whatever you're desiring to manifest the most, it's likely because you've struggled with that the most. You've experienced the polarity of it the most, of not having it the most. And that is because your struggle is your mastery. You are meant to start here at level 1 so that you can experience the growth and the soul lessons and expansion of going from level 1 to level 10, of actually mastering something. You can't master something if you don't start at ground zero. You have to go through the struggle to actually master it. You have to overcome the challenges. So know whatever you're struggling in right now, which is likely also the thing that you most want to change and manifest in your life, that is because you are meant to manifest what you want in that area of your life. And you are meant to master it and create massive success and abundance in that exact thing. So let that really motivate you and excite you, because great things are literally right around the corner for you once you learn to utilize your creator power, which you already innately have. You just need to remember how to work it. So before I leave you, final reminder that Align and Attract is open now. So if you want to dive deep into manifestation and go step by step into exactly how to create your reality and actually embody the process, so that by the end of the program, you are already well on the way of creating an entirely different life and reality for yourself. If you haven't already, by those end of 5 months, people have insane transformations during the time of the course and absolutely transform their lives. Continuously up-leveling again and again, because as I mentioned, you have this program for life. I will link Align and Attract down below. I will also be opening up Scale very soon, so I will link all the details for Scale down below. And I'm going to probably do a challenge when we launch Scale and have something fun for you guys here. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything. I will link all the Arcanum LA jewelry that I'm wearing down below for you too. This is the Portal Carnelian Clasp, Rapture rings, and then unreleased rings that will be dropping soon. Tiger's Eye and Obsidian Bracelet. I am literally hours away from leaving on a long manifested trip, so I need to go pack. But be sure to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, where I'll be sharing everything with you guys. So I'll link that down below for you too. If you made it this far, comment down below your favorite heart emoji. I am sending you so much love, so much good fucking energy, and I will see you next time. Bye.